Sports at Night is recorded in front of a non-existent studio audience. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Sports at Night. Real fans, real talk. And as always, I'm your host here, Todd Knight. And I got Jevon, Superman Miller, and Ian, Hurricane Andrew, baby.
Hurricane Andrew.
I'm not going to say that's,
Not the cheesiest thing you ever heard.
That's okay. Hi.
Works for me.
The Hurricane.
I try to think. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have. I just try to think of the lamest thing I could throw out there, but no. In all seriousness, yeah, I found it, man. Yeah. Sadly, I've been thinking about that mess all week.
Yeah.
And it shows, right?
It's something like that.
Yeah, thank you.
What we'll go with.
I think it's fly, dude.
I appreciate that. So I'm glad somebody does. And viewers, be sure to let us know what you think of his lame-ass nickname now.
Oh, man. Shit.
Just in all seriousness, though, we've known each other since 2012 and everything. And
It's been quite a while.
yeah, I mean, back in our days at LSU, yeah, definitely got to throw that last one in there.
Difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are the same now.
Yeah, y'all don't suck against Alabama.
For one. No, but I mean, this dude knows his stuff. I mean, he used to kick all of our butts in, sports trivia and everything. He's littered with tons of knowledge.
Oh man, you're like the opposite of me.
You're not that bad. I mean, Michael Jordan played for the Cavs, and
man.
Guys
right,
like Jerry
man.
Rice. I mean, he was sporting. What I mean, he was.
Wait a minute,
he was a Falcon.
You
at
mean
one
Jerry
point,
Rice
right?
wasn't a basketball player?
I guess not. I mean,
man,
I might be getting my
I'm
sports
way off, dude.
legends here
off.
crisscross with each other. But, but you know what we don't have crisscrossed?
What's that?
Our sponsorship, man.
Oh.
You're getting ahead of ourselves here.
I
Yes.
am.
As always, this episode of Sports at Night brought to you by Paul McMurray State Farm.
Big Paul.
Where the only thing better than the policies themselves is the service you'll be provided with.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, call the number on your screen, and somebody will be ready to help you with all of your insurance needs. You know who does need some insurance right now? And I hope to God he's got it. Dez Bryant.
I feel so bad for the guy.
I
could just imagine
Go ahead.
Dez Bryant going to the Saints practice facility and having the Geico duck follow him out. That's
Affleck.
Is that Affleck?
Yeah, Geico's the gecko.
I'm a State Farm guy too, so that's why I didn't know those things. Yeah, so the Affleck duck. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Geico has a lizard.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Geico, gecko.
Same thing.
They're
animals.
Yeah, the one with the English accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
That one precisely.
Yeah.
But Dez Bryant, though, I mean, just speaking, on behalf of, I think, all Cowboys fans, those who don't have their heads up their asses, I'll just put it like that. The ones that are, chastising him for, quote unquote, leaving the Cowboys. Look, he got cut, and it kind of ended up being just a very, very
ugly.
It was a very ugly end to an otherwise relatively happy marriage. And then he goes to the Saints, And 2 days after he signs, in the very, very, very last day or very last play of practice, he's running with the scout team, tears his Achilles tendon. There's a lot of people that will sit there and say that he was not in football shape. And an Achilles injury is one of those things where it doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in. It's just a fluky kind of thing, And, I mean, you can't tell me. Dan Marino back in '93, he ruptured his Achilles tendon. He was in fantastic football shape. And Dez, I know good and well that he wasn't sitting on the couch naked eating Cheetos or anything. The guy was in good shape, and yet this happens. I mean, and to me, that's just it's tragic. I hope that he still winds up getting a ring with the Saints. And I mean, they've won 7 in a row, and I think it's a good possibility.
So with Dez Bryant,
yeah, go ahead.
I am one of those that absolutely believes that he was absolutely in fine football shape.
Okay.
There's no way that he goes to the Saints after basically throwing away the last 2 months worth of progress that he could have possibly been making, because he came into the season as a free agent.
Right.
And I remember my big fantasy football draft I did this year where Dez was listed as a free agent on the sticker sheet. And you knew that he was going to want to try and come in somewhere. He was going to try and find the right team with the right fit and the right scenario, and he was going to try and find a team that could win now. He finally did that, and you know that no team that is in a position to make a run is going to want to pick up some 30-year-old quote-unquote past his prime receiver who has had locker room issues in the past, but they're willing to put those things aside if you can show that you can work past that and you are not going to be a liability. And part of that whole liability thing is being in football shape. Like you said, the rupture of an Achilles tendon or the tear of an Achilles tendon, that can just happen. You don't even have to have it being a contact thing.
Right, which it wasn't.
Yeah, look at the ACL tear for Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, those lower sort of leg injuries, be it tendons or ligaments or anything like that, that can just happen.
No, Jimmy made a stupid mistake, and it wasn't necessarily he got impacted when it happened, but I'm just saying, going in and then coming out, you can make a sharp move that can tear a tendon.
Right.
And that probably more than likely what happened to Jimmy Garoppolo was that sharp move of pretending like he was going to go out of bounds and trying to make a sharp cut in, knowing that he's a quarterback that doesn't do stuff like that, unlike a running back or someone whose muscles that designed to make those kind of sharp movements. As soon as he made that move, that's probably what snapped that. So, he's a different situation to me.
Well, what about Edelman last year? He clearly was in football shape and everything, and he in the first preseason game that he had, tore his ACL.
Yeah. And certain things like that.
And that was a non-contact injury right there.
Yeah, certain things like that happen to certain people. I feel like, Dez always had somewhat of he's been injury prone, kind of.
That is true. Ever since he signed that big deal after the 2014 season, he is not. Ever since then, he has not had a clean slate as far as his health is concerned.
But and with that being said, someone who's injury prone, in order to kind of combat that, you have to always constantly move and keep going. That's the only way Gronkowski didn't survive this long. Gronkowski has a slew of injuries, but because he keeps himself going, he's able to work his way through them.
Well, Frankenstein has plenty of spare body parts. I
think.
He does.
So. He does, but I still feel like, I understand. Achilles rupture, Achilles tear doesn't really have anything to do with being in football shape. But I'm still talking about a guy, not to say he wasn't in shape, but there's difference from being in shape and in football shape. How many games are we in the season now?
We are now 8 games. We're at the midway point of the season,
okay.
Where most teams have played 8 games.
People warmed up. They're going there. They've been playing right now. Everything's going, and Dez been sitting on the sideline this whole time. So he might have been in shape. Not to say he wasn't hitting the weights or out there running drill, but there's no way he could be in football shape unless he's out there playing football. Unless he's in the camps doing training drills with the team. You're not in football shape. You're in shape, but not in football shape. That was proven with Winston. Winston came in after his suspension. He came in. He didn't play his best football. They took him right back out, put Fitzpatrick right back in because he wasn't in football shape. He wasn't ready to go. He wasn't ready to go right then and right there. He was throwing more picks. He was looking awkward out there on the field. That's because he wasn't out there practicing and doing what he needed to do to be ready for the game.
You know what's funny about Jameis Winston? I'll just mention this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
He has been benched more times in favor of Fitzpatrick than Winston actually has wins.
That's crazy.
The number of times that he's been benched
That's crazy.
is greater than the number of wins that he's produced this season.
That's crazy. To sum it all up, I have nothing against Dez, but I feel like if it wasn't his Achilles, it would have been something else. Because I felt like he sat too long stagnant. And a guy like him who's injury prone need to always stay moving and out there and stay warmed up to keep down some of those injuries. And I promise you, that's the only reason why we still have a Rob Gronkowski, because he keeps himself moving. He keeps playing. He keeps playing through his injuries. So yeah, it's sad, and I hate that he done tore it, man. I feel bad for him, Dez, and I actually believe this might be the end of his career. But the fact of the matter is, I feel like if it wasn't this, it was going to be something else. It was coming. You know, I feel like he just sat down too long and waited too long.
I think all of us made valid points on this specific deal in regards to Dez.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have anything else that they want to say?
Love you, Dez.
Before we move on.
I love you, X-Man. And
I'll go. You know, as a Cowboys fan, I'll go ahead and throw up the X for you as well.
Right.
I know you're not.
There's absolutely no chance.
Hey, man.
I'll do it. I'll do it on behalf of you, Ian, right here. I know I'm crossing over my own face right now. Sorry about that.
There's an
we
old
all want to
boxer.
see this loveliness.
There's an old boxer named Anthony. What's this dude named Hopkins? Bernard Hopkins.
Bernard Hopkins.
Bernard Hopkins always
Anthony
used to throw the
Hopkins.
X up for. He used to always throw the X up for executioner, man. I like that, man. So Dez, that's for you, man. And I'm with Todd. I hope you get a Super Bowl, man. Sitting on your butt, chilling, relaxing, and Drew just go ahead and coast you onto a ring, buddy. That'd be cool. Kind of like what we did for another old Cowboys player, us Broncos did for old Cowboys player.
Yeah, he's sporting his jersey right now.
DeMarcus Ware. Yeah. We went on and coached Ware into a whole championship ring.
Yeah.
Super Bowl thing right here.
50. Yeah. We went on and put one on his finger. He needed it.
Yeah. It was bound to happen. I'm surrounded. The whole Bronco Mance thing here.
Another injury prone Cowboy, may we add, because he
started having some back trouble.
D-Ware had a whole lot of back problems, but he shared his load with probably one of the best linebackers there is to date, Von Miller. So he had some of his load taken off of him a little bit.
All right. Well, I am glad that he obviously got his ring, referring to DeMarcus Ware back in Super Bowl 50.
Cheers,
yeah,
Ware.
I know. I'm surprised you're not sharing that as well. You know what? Screw it. Here.
That's actually a good idea.
Cheers to DeMarcus Ware, man.
I understand that there's not really been a whole lot to cheers for with the Broncos this season, so I'm willing to go to season past to get mine in.
As
the holidays approach, yes.
I live in the past.
So look here, man. The Saints, they're obviously the hottest team in the league now.
Yes, sir.
You know they're 7-1. They've won 7 straight. They've won. They just beat previously the hottest team in all of football.
Man, by far.
And now they're coming up against to me, a relatively respectable Cincinnati Bengal team.
Up and down Cincinnati.
I mean, I think they've been better than what a lot of people thought they were going to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, better than we thought they were going to be going into this season.
I think Cincinnati, like you said, are respectable.
Yeah.
They're not a team that they're going to jump off at you on paper and be like, oh, they're amazing.
No.
But
they'll give you a fight, though.
They'll give you a fight. I mean, they're going to roll over on defense as they've been doing all year. And that's kind of, in my mind, the biggest thing to watch for is, will Cincinnati be able to do anything to stop Drew Brees? And Cincinnati, so far, they've got the 30th ranked defense in the NFL. and I think they're playing deserving of that title. They've given up 319 yards a game on defense in the air. And then, I mean, granted, New Orleans is only 8 yards better than that. But the difference is, will Andy Dalton be able to exploit 311 the same way that Drew Brees, even without Dez, will be able to exploit that 319?
Well, he's obviously had no problem to this point.
Right.
And I think you and I were talking before the show about this. There was a couple of different receivers that New Orleans was working out. Dez Bryant being included, the other being Brandon Marshall. And I know both of you guys know plenty about B. Marsh.
I love Brandon.
But yeah,
Marshall,
I think it's going to be next man up. The Saints are thin at wide receiver, otherwise they would not have been looking at that point.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
They're obviously in the market, and with the tragedy that had happened to Dez, I think Brandon Marshall is the guy that's going to be sliding on in there at this point.
And I think that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be. And you're not going to sit there. I mean, the Saints really need somebody else who can stretch the defense.
Right.
But, I mean.
And another thing Brandon Marshall has in common with Dez Bryant is he another big receiver.
That is true.
That's good in the red zone.
He's also a better route runner than what Dez is.
Way better.
As well.
Yeah,
I mean,
way better
Dez for a long time was able to get away with his athleticism and just being a freakish athlete that could, win a lot of those 50-50 balls.
Absolutely.
Brandon Marshall has been far superior as far as his route tree is concerned. And that's going to, I think, help take a little bit of the pressure off of Michael Thomas, who quietly is one of, if not the best receiver in football.
Wow. Well,
so
I can't say the best because the number 10 over there was with the Texans, but he's up there.
He's in the discussion. He should be in the discussion.
Absolutely.
You cannot have the discussion without having Michael Thomas in there this season.
Correct.
The 2018 campaign that he's put together so far has been impressive, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
So what I'm curious about with Brandon Marshall is if he decides to accept an offer from the Saints that I personally expect to be coming.
Purely speculative at this point.
Yeah, for sure. So Dez signed for, I think it was, so I know he's going to wind up getting $600,000 off this deal, even with the leg injury. What kind of deal will the Saints be able to have Brandon Marshall accept? And what kind of deal is he going to be looking for? Is he going to want something that's 2, 3, 4 years? And if so, are the Saints going to be willing to give him that? Because obviously he's been around for a long time. It's hard to say that receivers have the same shelf life as their career goes on. So I'm curious to see what kind of deal he's going to be looking for. If nothing else, he's just going to be looking to jump on a team that's ready to win now, because he's definitely in the twilight years of his career.
I think he's in the twilight year of his career, honestly.
It's hard for me to disagree with that.
Well, DeMarcus Ware said it best when he was like, DeMarcus Ware was like, I made all the money I wanted to make. I wanted a ring. That's why he was willing to come to the Broncos for less. That's the reason why he was willing to take a pay cut to keep our defense together, because you get to a point in your career where you say to yourself, you know what, I want a ring before I leave this thing. You know what I mean? I don't want to be one of those players that say, oh, he was great, he was good, but he never won the big one. Hey, if you go to basketball...
There's been a lot of players that have gone through that.
Oh, yeah. If you go to basketball, Michael Jordan made a whole lot of them go through that, as a matter of fact. And a lot of them probably want to hang him for that.
I grew up a Utah Jazz fan.
Yeah.
Hate Michael Jordan
I'm telling you, MJ left a lot of greats. We talking about top 50 greatest players of all time, Hall of Famers.
In some cases,
without
top
rings.
10s.
Yeah, without rings. He did that to a lot of them. So... Let's go back to football. You don't want to be that player that man couldn't even win a ring sitting on the sideline. So at some point you got to say, you know what, man, forget this money. I'm about to retire anyway. Let me go with a squad that can get me a ring. And this is Brandon Marshall's best chance right here.
I definitely agree with that. If he gets the offer, he better go ahead and just sprint over and be like, "Where's my pen?"
There you go, sir.
We ought to go ahead and just pick this game here. I know we have not talked much on Cincinnati.
Yeah.
very, very, very heavily gone on the Saints. I'm picking the Saints. I cannot see how they would possibly be able to have a letdown after the performance that they just had against the Rams.
I'm going to go with the Saints as well. So the Saints are currently 5.5-point favorites right now, and the over-under is 54.
You're going bookie on me.
I'm absolutely going to take the over on 54, and I think the overwhelming majority of those points are going to be the Saints.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going with the Saints only because this could easily be a trap game for the Saints, but I think that they stay so hungry, and they're always, no matter whether they win it or not, they're always considered as like an underdog because nobody really gives a crap about the Saints except for people down here. So I think that fuels them so much, and they stay so hungry that they will not lose to a team like Cincinnati. They're going to go in there and give them everything they want.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're all on the Saints.
Yeah.
Unsurprising. Okay. So there's one game, I mean, this I think looks like the game right now that, I mean, everybody around here is really eyeballing. There's another game that I think a very small percent of the country right now is eyeballing, that of course being the Midwest. The Lions and the Bears. That, I mean... speaking as a Detroit Lion fan, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I'm also a Detroit Lion fan. This game, I mean, their season hinges on this game. I mean, the NFC East and the NFC North are by far the most quote unquote competitive of all the divisions in football, as far as every team being able to legitimately win it right now, just because of how muddy it is. But the Lion, this is a playoff game, unquestionably, right now, going against the Chicago Bears, and they're facing them again here on Thanksgiving as well. So I mean, it's going to be really tough sledding for Detroit.
Is Detroit
Darius
home
Slay,
or are they on the road?
It's at Soldier Field.
Is it okay?
It is. Okay. Darius Slay is not playing. I mean, their guard TJ Lang is not playing. I have not heard yet as to whether Khalil Mack is going to be back. But here's an interesting stat to throw out to you guys. The Lions have won 9 of their last 10 meetings against Chicago. Does that hot streak continue? Jevon, I'll go to you first.
Whoo, snap. Man, Chicago have been beating some butt lately, man. Oh, my goodness. This is hard. You know what? My heart wants to go for the Lions. My heart want to go for them. Because, first off, I like Matthew Stafford. That's my dog, man. I think that cat is just a talented quarterback.
I love Matt Stafford.
I do. I love that sucker. And I want to pick him, man. I want to pick him. It's just that somehow or another, these Bears, man, I don't know what didn't happen. Khalil Mack came over there and changed the whole dynamic of their locker room, and they're winning. And they're winning convincingly, man. That defense is starting to look like the old school defense that we used to seeing from the Bears. But you know what? The hell with it. I'm going with the underdogs any damn way. I'm going with the Lions. I think they come in there, they put something together, they go ahead and show the Bears what they got,
Feeling
and they
the
win
Lions
this thing,
den.
man. You know what? I see it. I see a hungry Lions go ahead and do what they got to do finally. You know what? That's what I'm going with. I'm sticking with it.
You know what? As much, I'm going to say this. The Lion and Hazard will absolutely agree with me on this. The Lions have a habit of winning games that they're not supposed to win.
They do.
And given their history over, obviously, the last 5 years against Chicago, mind you, this is not the same Bears team that they faced the last 5 years.
Not at all.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I mentioned Darius Slay not being able to play. The Bears don't have any receivers hardly. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kevin White occasionally makes a play here and there, but that's about it. I'd be a lot more concerned about the running game than anything else.
Right. And you got to put up points. I don't care how good your defense is. You got to put points up.
You know what? I like their rookie. I like Kerryon Johnson being able, because he's built for games that are going to be on this ugly ass field. I think he comes out. He has another great game. I think he goes over 100. I'm going to pick the Lions to get it done. To me, that's an upset. I don't know if the hot streak continues at that point, but I am going underdog on this one. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Lions.
Yeah.
I think both of you are off your rockers. The Bears are going to take this game. That's just what's going to happen. They're at home. They're favored by 6.5 over the Lions. Everybody in Vegas is picking the Bears, and I feel
so they can lose their money.
Game. The perfect chance to put your money where your mouth is, man. I'm telling you. But the biggest thing for me is that I can't escape the fact that this is the main game, the first game for the rest of the season, where the Lions are going to really, truly hardcore feel the absence of Golden Tate after they let him go to the Eagles.
You didn't feel like they did against Minnesota last week?
And by the way, I picked that game last week.
Did you?
I did. I said Minnesota was going to win because of an absence of a one Golden Tate. I said,
and guess who was wrong? Me.
Yeah.
Right here. I was wrong.
Yeah. I said it. I told you they were going to feel losing that dude way more than we thought.
So I definitely do believe that they missed him for that. For sure. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that that loss is gonna have the same weight as it will this week. They basically have to win out against everybody that they're gonna be playing,
especially in their division.
Wow.
Yeah, and especially in their division. But
that's a heavy load.
But the way that it's seen for me is that the Lions have pretty much been willing to let Tate go in basically preparation of just like kind of letting this season just kind of just drift off into the distance. I'm not necessarily going to say they're going to let every team in the NFL walk all over them. I don't think they're going to start tanking the season by any means, but
unlike the Giants.
So that's a long, dark, deep rabbit hole, and I don't want to see how far down it goes. But,
and I don't want to go deep in it either.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
The Lions.
Nice.
Thank you. The Lions, I just don't think have a chance in this game. I'm taking the Bears to win by at least 10.
Well, for obvious reasons, we all hope that you're wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Broncos aren't going to lose this week. Just saying. For once.
Well, it's pretty. No, they're not going to win either.
Hell, we'll find
better
a way.
than losing.
Hell,
it might be a tie. There's been enough of those this year. It could happen again, right?
Hey, we'll find a way to lose in the offseason.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, there's one.
I miss you.
Love you, 88.
Man, there's one matchup here, and like I was saying, we're gonna do like our top 5 games and everything, and sitting there picking through the schedule this week was Jesus, it was a nightmare, man. So the motion, I guess one of the most intriguing games that we were looking at here, and I think you're snoring because you know it's coming. The Patriots and the Titans. Literally the only reason that we're mentioning this game.
What a snooze fest.
Literally the only reason we're mentioning this game is you have Mike Vrabel against Bill Belichick. It's another one of those guys on the coaching tree. Belichick is 0 for 1 this season against his little underlings, his lemmings from previous years. Mike Vrabel was a linebacker for the Patriots back at the beginning of their dynasty, from 01 to 04. Vrabel got 3 rings as a linebacker. He even caught some touchdown passes there from Mr. Brady, and I remember that. But as I'm sitting here looking at this team, at this matchup in particular, Tom Brady and the Patriots offense, they've struggled. I know that they've got Josh Gordon now, they've got Edelman back, but this is an offense that has struggled to put the ball in the end zone of late. And the Tennessee Titans, they've got a good defense. They do. What they are missing is good, consistent quarterback play from Marcus Mariota.
Well, when Mariota wake up, he's good.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, but again, it's about being consistent.
Yeah.
Corey Davis, yeah, he is he's starting to emerge a little bit. You definitely saw some of that last week against the Cowboys.
I did.
And I think Dion Lewis was a fine pickup for them from, of all teams, the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry is a good short yardage back who, has the habit of, banging the hell out of anybody that gets in his way. But the Patriot, I don't see the Titans being good enough offensively to get it done. The Patriots are not that good defensively either.
No.
But
bend but don't break.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
The Patriots, I think they're going to win this game against the Titans, but it's going to be one of those, like what you were all talking about. You are falling asleep on me. You're wiping your eyes right now. It's a snooze fest. I'm sorry, but it really, really is. The Patriots, they'll find a way to win, so go ahead and chalk me down for that. But I don't think there's anybody that's going to be tuning into this game, minus the northeastern part of the country.
Well, first,
go ahead.
Well, first off, man, I've taken dumps more interesting than this game. This is trash, dude. Straight up, man. This is garbage. And you know what? I'll tell you like this, man.
That is the quote of the day right there.
Yeah, it really is, man. I like Mariota, man. I think he's a young quarterback that's going to be really good someday. And he shows glimpses of it all the time.
He does. He does in spurts.
He can manage the game when he needs to. He can put up points when he needs to. This is when he's hot. You know what I mean? I saw him do it many, many times. Only thing it is just Belichick eats young quarterbacks. I've said that 1,000 times, and I'm always right. Whenever you put a young quarterback in front of him, he's going to find a way to beat him.
You're right.
He did it with Kansas City.
You said that till you're black in the face.
Yeah, man, he did it with Kansas City. I'm not that black, brother.
I know you're not. I'm just screwing with you.
No. But no, seriously. No, you're right, though. No, man, I'm serious, though. He take young quarterbacks, and he's going to beat them. Kansas City, here's Kansas City, one of the hottest teams in the league. Guess what? They got their first L against who? The Patriots. Why?
Yeah.
They figured out how to neutralize the young quarterback just enough to beat them.
Yeah.
Now, not to say that he still wasn't dynamic or he didn't do great things in that game.
Because he almost pulled it off.
He almost pulled it off, but they neutralized him just enough to get the W.
Yeah.
That's what he do against young quarterbacks. He eats them. So Mariota don't have a chance. And I just really feel like this is I'm telling you what I'm going to be doing when this game come on. I'm probably going to be taking one of those interesting dumps while this game is playing.
So,
glorious.
Yes.
One of the interesting storylines behind this whole thing as well is not only the Mike Vrabel aspect to everything, but the Tennessee defensive coordinator, Dean Pease, was the defensive coordinator under Belichick and the Patriots from 2006 to 2009. So,
and how many Super Bowls did they win during that time?
I don't want to talk about it. So,
this many. I'm whipping out my telescope for you guys.
I just hate talking about Patriots and Super Bowls, period. Even in years they didn't win. I just oh my God. So,
what a douchebag of a team.
No, I hate him. That said, they always do find a win, even if it comes from deflating footballs and whatever else.
Among other things.
Or having a quarterback with deflated balls.
They've deflated more balls than Jenna Jameson in the 90s. So,
real talk right there, right, Jevon?
I agree.
We're here kind of ragging on the game as well about how it's not going to be exciting, it's not going to be that fun to watch. But something that's also interesting, a line I saw earlier, was that while the three of us might not be excited about this game, everybody in Tennessee is blowing up over this game. And average ticket prices are...
How much inbreeding is in Tennessee?
$400. Average ticket prices for normal non-Patriot games are $223 in Tennessee right now. This game, the average seat is $623.
Oh, God, we're going to have every hillbilly.
So what? It went up by 150%?
Like 175%.
Gee whiz, man, come on.
Ridiculous. So it's a huge markup for this game, and that's just kind of effect that...
Bruh, give me a break.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
just the kind of effect that Belichick and Brady and the Patriots are going to have on this game.
Spike your prices to have a letdown. Okay, that nice.
Only-
Okay, whatever.
Get your
Only,
money where you can, man. Hashtag W.
only in a place where education is at the bottom will someone pay that much money to watch their team lose against the Patriots.
Well, to be
I thought
fair,
Louisiana
I'm a
was,
LSU
but-
fan, and we did it for Alabama last week. So
Yeah, I was. I
And
wasn't going to say that,
and
but
where
yeah.
do we rank education-wise?
public education,
We
rank like 54th in the U.S.
and
there's
I,
only
Out of 50 states.
and, hey,
Clearly, that's the local education going.
and that's probably half of LSU audience. So I rest my case.
Oh man, LSU's best students came from overseas.
I cannot begin to quantify the number of fans we just lost.
Hey, see you guys later, dude. Peace.
Peace.
Podcast is done. I'll catch you guys next time.
All right. Well, there's one team that I think has no shortage of fans right now. The Los Angeles Rams, right?
Oh yeah, buddy.
They
will always be St. Louis to me.
Yeah.
Always and forever.
Trust me. It took a long time for me to stop referring to the Chargers as San Diego.
Hey, I'm
matter of
always calling
fact,
them
whenever
San
Always going to be San Diego.
They always
hell
say
yeah,
San Diego,
exactly.
Me too, yeah.
I could be watching them play a home game in Wisconsin, and I'm still going to call them San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look here. I saw the other day, and we're totally digressing on this, but I'm just going to say it real quick. I had a notification pop up on my phone the other day, and I swear to God, and I showed Hazar this. It said the San Diego Chargers. I mean, even these professional networks like NFL Network and, ESPN. And I'm not saying ESPN did it, and I'm not saying NFL Network did it, although they did. But, I mean, to still call them San Diego, I didn't feel so bad at that point. I'm like, you know what? I'm the average Joe sports and analyst here, and I'm saying San Diego Chargers still, and they're doing it. I must not be that bad.
Well, don't feel bad, man. You call them where they make their legacy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
yeah.
The Chargers made their legacy in San Diego.
Right.
We have watched amazing games in San Diego. St. Louis Rams made their legacy in St. Louis. We watched the greatest show on turf in St. Louis. You know what I mean?
True that.
So it's
Yep.
it's natural.
Although the Rams do have a history prior to the greatest show on turf in LA. They do have that.
Right.
They went to the Super Bowl back in the 79-80 season. They lost to the Steelers then. Which I know how you feel about the Steelers and everything. I mean that's one of the greatest dynasties of all time.
Yeah, it is.
But we're completely digressing here. Mm-hmm. The Seahawks, they are quietly one of the hotter teams now. And this is a matchup in the NFC West that has a little bit of intrigue.
Yeah, it is.
Because if the Seattle Seahawks pull off what would be a colossal upset in my mind, they would go to no doubt about that. The Seahawks would improve to 5-4, and the Rams, who were once 8-0, would drop to 8-2. Suddenly, that division's not so clear anymore, right? But if the Rams, who I think all of us, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick on all of our behalfs. Yeah. We're all on the Rams, so we can go ahead and chalk that up right now. So the Rams will go to 9-1, and they'll be really 4 games ahead of the next closest team, the Seahawks. That division will be ironed up before Thanksgiving gets here.
Yeah.
The Rams will win this game because, as you can see from the headline, I feel like they're pissed off. They were making a run there in New Orleans there towards the end, and the bottom line is they just failed to make one more big play. That was it. And good God, the Rams are truly the more talented team, and they're going to come out of this game, I think, with a vengeance. Seattle, in my mind, has a small chance, but not enough to say that they're going to go out there and win it. Ian, what do you got?
So, the Rams are definitely, obviously, my pick. We've already been over that. But something that I feel that the Rams need to do in order to shore up this game is be able to shut down Seattle's rushing attack. So last time they played,
Carson's done good.
Seattle was gouging them for 6 yards a carry. They went for 190 rushing yards that game. So the simple thing is, which I say simple, nothing's really that simple once you get to the NFL level, but just for the straight X's and O's of things, the game is going to hinge on whether or not the St. Louis Rams are going to be able to shut down Seattle's running game. Are they going to be able to pressure Russell Wilson? And will Seattle be able to stop everything that Jared Goff is going to be doing? No, they can't. So, simply put, just stop their run, and you're fine.
That does simplify it greatly. What do you got, Superman?
Man, I don't really see anything simple about this game. Honestly, I give Seahawks a way better chance of winning this game than we think. They're just one of those teams that are just gritty and never give up. It's a divisional game. Divisional games are always way harder than any game that you could think of. There's when you got one team that's one way and another team that's another way that's on a winning streak, and this team could be losing. We have seen it 1,000 times where that team could lose to in a divisional game to a losing team in their division. So,
okay, all right.
And the Seahawks are one of those teams that can do that, and plus they're just fighters. As much as I hate them, because I'm always hate them, Super Bowl 48. I'm gonna always hate the Seattle Seahawks, but I have admired how much. Even when they lost the Legion of Boom and when everything started to fall apart, how they still somehow figure out how to rack up wins. We don't even know how. We can't put it together. We don't know. It's Russell Wilson. He wills them dudes to win. But I don't think they're going to win this game, but I think it's going to be a harder fight than we think.
Okay.
I think they're going to give the Rams what they know what's coming. They know what's coming. So they're like, you know what? Bump these dudes. We done played them twice a year. Let's go in here and let's go give them a quick black eye. And then even if we lose the fight, at least they feel us.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Know?
So, who are you picking?
I'm picking the Rams to win, but not by a big margin though.
Okay. So you feel like it's going to be a better game than what Ian and I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good
I've got
game.
the Rams winning by at least 10.
I had to go back and forth.
Yeah. Nah. I see him winning by maybe a touchdown, maybe even a field goal. But it's gonna be a good game. That's my feeling.
Okay, all right. Lastly, this is the Sunday night game, and whether you like them or not, it draws plenty of attention. The Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. We were talking about the Lions and the Bears earlier. Them being in the NFC North. That division is just as muddy as the NFC East. Washington right now is ahead of the pack at 5-3. The Eagles are 4-4. The Cowboys are 3-5, and the New York Football Giants are a paltry 1-7. Look here, the only team that I'm writing off, mathematically speaking, of course, is the New York Giants.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys technically still in it. The Philadelphia Eagles obviously still in it. Washington could still lose it. Eagles have a really, really good defense still, and they're devastating in the trenches. With Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. Now they got Michael Bennett. I mean, this is a great Eagles defensive line, similar to the days whenever there was Reggie White, Seth Joyner, Clyde Simmons, guys like that back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
I see a lot of similarities with that. And their secondary has actually performed pretty well. It's their offense, believe it or not, that's been kind of the problem for them.
I know why.
And I know you've talked about Carson Wentz not seeming like he's been back yet, really.
I would have never taken out Nick Foles.
They don't have an issue, or let me rephrase that. They have a little bit of an issue at running back. I think that is a big problem. I like Goddard. I think he's going to be a great tight end for them.
Yeah.
They still have Ertz, so they have two of the best tight ends. Maybe they've been one of the best tight end duos in the league.
Especially Ertz.
Yeah. And Alshon Jeffrey. Minus that, where I'm seeing the issue here is the Cowboys' obvious inability to move the ball down the field consistently. Dak is going to be harassed like mad crazy in this game.
Yeah, he will.
Because, I mean, the offensive line, it's not as good as it used to be.
No.
Not anywhere close to it.
We talk about the number one offensive line in the league at one point.
Now we're talking about middle of the road here, potentially. Cowboys' defense is excellent. It's better than it has been in years.
They are.
But I have to pick the Philadelphia Eagles. Because of the simple fact that Dak Prescott is not going to have anywhere near enough time. And it's not going to matter whether it's Amari Cooper out there, whether it's Michael Gallup. It's not going to matter who's out there a receiver. If you don't have protection, you don't have a play. So I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles on this one. Jevon, I'm kicking it off to you. Superman, who you got?
Well, I have another phrase for what you just said. If you don't have protection, you catch diseases.
I swear to God, that's where I was going to.
Yes. So yes, you're right. That O-line stinks. They can't give this young man enough time to do what he did when he first took over that O-line, when he first took over that offense. He's not having that time anymore. And not only that, Zeke hasn't been that dynamic running back that took a lot of pressure off him at all either.
Cannot overstate the or cannot sit here and not make a big enough deal about the fact that Travis Frederick, their All-Pro center, has not been in the lineup all year because of his illness.
Right.
Let's call it what it is.
Right.
And Connor Williams at left guard. I'm sorry, that is a travesty. They would be better off having Lyle Collins, who is more of a mauler himself, switching back over to left guard like what he started in the NFL, and having Connor Williams, who's more athletic and less of a bruiser, on the outside where he can handle the speed rushers.
Yeah.
That would, in my mind,
It would help some. Yeah.
That would solve some of the issues. I'm not saying it would be the cure-all, end-all of it, but it would help a lot.
Well,
why the coaches can't see that, I don't know.
Well, the only bright spot that we have that the Cowboys can look forward to is now Dat and Amari had another week with each other, which can actually be detrimental, which could mean that, all right, now we got better timing with one another. And I can get the ball to you, and it can help me get by myself time. You know what I mean? So that's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping happen between them two. The defense, man, don't you worry about the defense. The defense is going to harass Carson Wentz. Possibly, the defense could win this game, as a matter of fact. Make him throw some more interceptions. Make him get some fumbles and get the ball back. They can do that. They have the ability to do that.
They've proven that they can create turnovers.
They can create turnovers. And where are we right now? Where are they going to play at? Are we in Philly?
It's at the Link. It's at the Link in Philly. Yes, exactly.
Okay. I'm only going with you, Philly. It's because you're at home. That's the only reason why I'm going with you. Because I actually believe the Cowboys can beat you. Yeah, and if you were in Dallas, you would lose, because I think that they have enough to beat you guys, because you're really not that good right now, especially on offense. You're not that good. I would have never
pretty shaky.
I would have never taken out Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a damn good quarterback, and he could have led this team. I think he would have been just fine. You go with your hot hand. Don't bring Wentz back just because, that's our franchise. He's the future. All right, he's the future. Sit his ass on the bench and let him play in the future. Go with what's hot right now, Nick Foles. That's what I would have done. So, but just don't think that I'm with you, because I think you're just going to blow out the Cowboys.
Right. Okay.
So, I don't believe that, basically, let me just rephrase this. Philadelphia absolutely did the right thing with the quarterback situation. I feel that Carson Wentz is clearly the guy for them. I think that if that guy is able to get on the field, he needs to be on the field.
Okay, so you put the guy on the field and you sit down your Super Bowl MVP then.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh man, absolutely. That's noodles.
I'm also going to say this: the winner of this game will win this division. I'm just going to call that now. The Washington Redskins are so torn up. They actually called me last week to try to come in and sub for them.
I got an email too, dude, but I tried to turn it down, man.
They were the same thing last year.
I got a fax
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
And the funny thing is, like, Todd got a fax, and there was nobody that actually sent it because nobody faxes anymore. So the Washington Redskins,
Eminem,
just like last year, they're completely shredded. I don't believe that they have anybody that is going to show up for the rest of the season. So it's basically going to come down to the Eagles and the Giants. And this game is going to prove to be
the Giants?
Sorry, I misspoke. The Eagles and the Cowboys. Which, to be fair, the Cowboys have about the same chance of doing it too. It's going to be the Eagles. But the game between the Cowboys and the Eagles this week, in my mind, is going to set up the narrative for who's going to win this division. And similarly to the Rams-Seahawks game, where after the Rams win, that's pretty much going to show us who's going to win that division. Now, obviously, things are still hugely muddled with records. Like, even though somebody could win this game, they go on like a 3-game snide, and the other team comes up by 2 or something like that. I could get that would happen, but that's just not going to. I'm going to call that now. Defense is going to be absolutely paramount for the Cowboys. And
it has to be at this point.
It's got to be.
And they got plenty of it, boy.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I've still got Amari Cooper going for well over 100 yards and at least 1 touchdown this week. I've got Amari really kind of showing up.
Is he on your fantasy team?
He is not.
Okay.
You know who is, though? Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Christian McCaffrey. So,
you've already won.
You
then
killed it this week, then.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are you picking for this game?
I've got the Eagles for sure.
You've got the Eagles. Okay, so we're all in Philadelphia on that one, and
but don't get it twisted, Cowboys. I'm rooting for you though. I hope y'all do.
As am I. I mean, we don't have a first round pick now.
I
have to root for you.
No. I refuse to side with my sister. And I will not be rooting for the Cowboys.
No, I hope they win, man. I hope they do. I hope that since they're such a big underdog, I hope they do win this game.
Well, you know what?
That'll be awesome.
It's funny that you mentioned those specific guys with your fantasy team. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's phenomenal.
It's almost like that was like a segue.
Almost. And I guarantee you, man, whoever in the hell has Ben Roethlisberger and Juju Schuster-Smith and Christian McCaffrey, you had a hell of a fantasy week. And if you had all 3 of them on your team, you can sit there and...
It was good. I'll show you.
Lean back.
You can lean back because you got this one in the bag, son.
Yeah.
Yep.
It feels really good whenever your running back in a losing attempt still gets 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's just really
no question about that. Look here, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers, y'all remember when they were 1-2-1?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah? I mean, good Lord.
But I think
how many points do you have right now?
I think there was a guy on this show.
I
think there was a guy on this show that said, though, that you can
3 players and you've got almost 88 points.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you're going to win.
Yeah. Feels good, man.
Yeah, there was a guy who be on this show sometimes that said that, you never can count out Pittsburgh, though. Ever.
I don't know who said that. I have no idea who said that.
But I kind of know who said it.
Won't mention any names, though, right?
Yeah, we're not going to mention any names at all, Superman. But, Pittsburgh, dude.
I mean, he made Superman look pretty bad. I mean, Pittsburgh defensively looked better than they have all season.
Yes, they did.
Seriously.
Yes, they did.
And the Panthers, you take away this game, the Panthers have been really good this year.
Oh, been great. Yeah, they've been really good.
And as I'm sitting here, looking at, the stats obviously say a lot, but they don't tell the whole story. I mean,
you had to watch that game.
Yeah,
you had to watch
this.
That
and in an otherwise, crazy ass world, which we all know we live in, this could somehow actually be a Super Bowl preview. It's unlikely, but it is a possibility. The Panthers, they are good enough.
They are.
To go to a Super Bowl. The Steelers are good enough now to go to a Super Bowl. Bear in mind also that they are doing this, the Pittsburgh Steelers are, without Le'Veon Bell anywhere near the facility. And their owner, Art Rooney II, has said he does expect Le'Veon Bell to be back this week.
Ooh.
I think that's just for publicity purposes, honestly, because I don't see how Pittsburgh can legitimately, at this point, take James Conner out of the lineup, because he has actually done better
than Le'Veon.
Bell has done.
Yes, he has, but
And obviously, he's been far more economical. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, granted, it hasn't cost Pittsburgh Steelers a penny for Le'Veon, because he didn't even sign the franchise tag.
Yeah, Connor is
right?
still on his rookie contract.
Exactly. And he's performing outstanding.
I'm loving him. I love watching that kid get the ball, man.
Yeah.
He's a gritty runner. I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
And like we were talking about last week, it's a great story.
Yeah, it
is,
man.
Him being a Pittsburgh boy, his battle with cancer, and obviously he's clearly overcome it.
Big time.
And it's hard not to root for somebody like that. And then you got guys like Ben Roethlisberger, who, he's in the twilight of his career.
Very much so.
But you look at the numbers that he puts up, you'd never be able to tell it.
Connor is way past the point by now of proving that he is way more than just a Sam's Club, Costco version of Bell. He is legitimate. He's ready to play. He's been doing it all season long, and he's been doing great.
You're talking about not being a Sam's Club, Costco, generic type player. He's name brand at this point. He's Armani at this deal.
I don't know if I go that far for this season. Yeah.
Yeah, for this season. I'm not saying
But the Pittsburgh Steelers have completely, obviously, I'm throwing out something like water is wet. But the Steelers have...
Not to mention a bunch of adverbs back to back.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
That's the LSUS education, isn't it? 54th, baby.
I should have saved it then. The Steelers have completely turned their entire season around. And they've gotten to the point where their defense is showing up. They're averaging almost 3.5 sacks a game. They're tied for first in the league with the Minnesota Vikings on that number. And then over the past 5 games, they're averaging giving up like 21 points a game or so. And with that offense now showing up the way that it has been, 21 points
is not enough.
Is more than that number.
It's easy to clear that bar.
Yes. It is way easy for Pittsburgh to clear a 21-point bar that their defense is giving up to take a game. Mm-hmm. And you see them score 30. What was the score the other day? It was
52-21.
Yeah. So they cleared by 30-something points.
We're in Louisiana, but even we know that 52 points is more than 21. So
they clear them by a huge number, and then this Cam Newton looked like a complete sham the other day.
So true.
Sham Newton.
Hey.
Hey. So Cam Newton looked really, really bad. And
get out Sham Newton.
There we go.
To be fair, the Steelers were in basically the driver's seat defensively all game if you take out the monster game that Christian McCaffrey had. Cam Newton just was not able to move the ball in any way that didn't involve 22. So I think that really Pittsburgh has kind of turned the season into a monster rush at the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl. And I'm still staying with Kansas City. but I'm starting to kind of get worried about every other team in the AFC.
How long have we been on right now? About an hour. Okay. I'm going to throw just a real quick hypothetical to you guys, real quick here.
Because I'm like a boxer. I'm ready to go. Because I'm ready to talk about this, but I'm chilling. I'm letting y'all get all y'all stats and get everything out the way because I'm in the corner, drooling at the mouth to talk about this game.
Okay.
So let's go. Throw it out there.
Well, you're right. You haven't had a chance to talk about this game, so go ahead and hit it.
Okay. Am I the next man up?
Yeah. Ding ding ding. Go ahead.
All right. First off, let's go ahead and let's get it on out the way. As a Bronco fan, I feel good by watching Panthers go down. You know why? Because it started in Super Bowl 50 and it has continued all the way to right now today. We took them bastards down and they haven't recovered ever since. We took Superman S off his chest and he ain't put it back on right since then. Man,
I know you're not religious, but I know good and well you're thinking to yourself, preach.
Selfie, guys.
That's right.
Okay. Now, back to what I was saying.
We wear pink on Wednesdays.
You can say what you want to say about Kansas City because they're the hot team right now. They winning, they clicking, they got all these points putting up. Hunt, Kelsey, I like to call him Kersey because he's like a girl to me. But Mahomes and all this, yeah. Kansas City, they flashy, they cute, they pretty. But let me tell you who's a gritty team that has proven themselves time and time again. Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to tell you right now, between a gritty game between Kansas City and Pittsburgh come out on top every time. I'm going to tell you something right now. There's going to be two old quarterbacks in the Super Bowl this year. There's going to be two old quarterbacks in the Super Bowl this year. It's going to either be number 12 from the Patriots, which is another old-ass quarterback, or it's going to be old-ass Drew Brees in there, or it's going to be old-ass Roethlisberger. But the young boy will not be in there this year. I don't care what anybody says. They go ahead, and you hearing it first. And I want you to say this and say the old man right in the Super Bowl. Because those boys will not be in there. Kansas City will let you down. And they're going to let you down. Because if you put them in a slobber knocker with Pittsburgh, they will lose. I'm guaranteeing it. Pittsburgh is ready. They're hitting on all cylinders right now and at the right time. They didn't have to do it in the beginning of the season. This is when you make your playoff run right now. With midway point. Just go ahead and coast on in, baby, and just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. Get to the postseason and go ahead and take that thing in.
So you really kind of got onto the hypothetical that I was about to hit with AFC Championship, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City. So you really kind of already dove into that.
Yeah, that's what I feel is coming.
I think that's what's going to happen as well. Just kind of going off of everything that's going through, the midway point of the season. So I'm just throwing this out there, and guys, thank you so much for watching and being patient with us as we go through our just normal whatever.
Ramble on and on.
Yeah,
this is what we do.
This could go on indefinitely.
If you don't like
honestly,
it,
really could.
If you don't like it, change it. Get off. Don't watch it anymore. You don't like we ramble.
And drunk at Waffle House.
Yeah. We talk.
Kidding.
Talk crap. We ramble. We do what we do because we real fans, and we talking about real sports. You hear me? We got real opinions.
That's right.
This ain't you ain't listening to Skip and Skip and Shannon or Stephen A. and whoever the hell else he have on his show sitting there with stats in front of him. I don't need no
Max
stats in front of
Kellerman.
me. I know how I feel and I'm gonna tell you how I feel. You know what I mean? I don't need no stats. I don't care about stats. I care about what I see on TV. And what I see is a Pittsburgh Steelers team ready to go to the Super Bowl.
Because you have visual evidence of it.
Damn straight, man.
Ian. I'm looking at Pittsburgh and I'm looking at Kansas City AFC Championship. Who goes to the Super Bowl in your opinion, based on that matchup and what you've seen in the first 8 games?
So it was way easier, obviously, for me to answer this question like 3 weeks into the season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But-
you think?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
You should have
Yeah.
just asked me like a month and a half ago. But the Kansas City Chiefs admittedly have me worried about their defense. And
Straight up.
if the two
Yeah.
teams were to meet in the AFC Championship game, I have no doubts that Patrick Mahomes would find ways to put up points. Sammy Watkins has been able to stay healthy thus far. He's only
For the first time in his career.
Yeah. So he's only had one game that he's just been like, wow, this is like a huge breakout game for this guy. So far, they've really relied on Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill to be like the guys who really go out and do things. But I still think they'd be able to hang up at least 30 on the Pittsburgh defense. The problem is whether they would be able to score as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers do. Because the Steelers are still going to be able to make at least one stop.
Yes.
Will Kansas City be able to say that they can also make at least one stop? And I would really kind of be nervous about that. That said, I still am going to stick to my guns that I made way earlier and say that Kansas City is going to win the AFC.
Okay. And then, mind you, this is coming from a Broncos fan too now. So this is,
This is
There's nothing.
definitely not a bandwagon thing because I hate the Chiefs. I've always hated the Chiefs.
I loathe
it is what it
the
is.
Chiefs. I hate them.
Despite
Hate them.
Despite being really worried about Pittsburgh, I'm going to stay with Kansas City.
Hate you, Kansas City. You always have let your city down. You're gonna do it again, dude. I know it. I feel it.
Tell us how you really feel.
I feel it down in my loins. You know what I mean? All you did was switch quarterbacks, but you still that same old team that folds in the clutch, buddy.
If you feel
And the
anything
clutch
in
is
your
coming.
loins, you might want to get that checked out. Like,
Not at all. Not when I see a big red spot of Kansas City in my loins. No, I ain't getting it checked out because I know what it is, man.
if you see anything that's a big red spot in your loins, you really need to go.
It's Kansas City. It's Kansas City peas.
It's a
You know what I
cold
mean?
sore,
That's what it
I
is. It's Kansas City peas.
Yo,
That's what it is.
look here, man. How about this? I'm gonna make this just as incredibly simple as possible.
Let's do it.
The Steelers would beat the Kansas City Chiefs simply because of the fact that while the Steelers may not be a great defense, their defense is better than Kansas City.
Straight up.
So, like you said, it's not about how many points you score in this matchup necessarily. It's about how many stops you can get. That should be the determining factor in this game.
It will be.
So you can sit there and you look at it, it being, I'll just say, 41-34. Right? Everybody will look at that as being the numbers that tell it all.
Right.
But I'm looking at 6-4. How many stops you got versus one team against the other.
Yeah.
That would be the difference right there in my mind.
Yeah.
Anything to say before we close off this episode?
Well, go Broncos. And also, only thing about Pittsburgh that scares me is they're such a tough, gritty team that you always worried about them getting hurt every game. You know what I mean? You always worry about Roethlisberger going down or somebody on their team going down because they play such hard, gritty games, man. And they don't play those soft, fluffy, quickly score games like Kansas City do. Kansas City play really fluffy,
you're
pretty
right.
games. They games, it's like a pass here, a pass there, a catch here. The grittiest game they had was against us. That was the grittiest game Kansas City had this whole season of theirs, because Von Miller put so much pressure on Mahomes and it was getting to him so frequently that it was the toughest game that they didn't have this season.
That would be the only concern I would have right there, because the two games you just mentioned right there against your Broncos,
right. Right.
Them coming out 2-0 against battle tested 2-0.
Yeah,
that'd be the only real concern I would have about that one. I'm still putting Pittsburgh in front of them.
Right, yeah, and that's pretty much it though. But that's all they didn't had. Pittsburgh didn't had gritty games this whole season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's why I always say a battle tested team. To me, a battle tested team will always beat a pretty finesse team.
Yeah,
and I can use that against my own team, and that goes back to Super Bowl 48, 2013. When we went against a gritty Seattle Seahawks team, and we were so much finesse, and we were so pretty of a team, and we put up so many points, then we went against a gritty team, we lost badly. And on the biggest stage, there is to lose on.
Yeah, that's a fact. Man, before we wrap this show up, I never do this. I'm always wearing something sporty, jersey or emblem, whatever. But today I'm wearing a different emblem because Memorial Day, excuse me. Veterans Day is coming up on Monday.
Right.
And so I just wanted to
Hey,
give
Dad.
a special. Yes, exactly.
My dad a vet, 20 years military.
I wanted to give a special shout out to all of our vets out there that are defending us, going out there and kicking ass, protecting us. We talk about the O lines, everything, protecting quarterbacks. We really appreciate you guys out there being our O line and protecting us. So I'll just give a shout out to a couple of them real quick: Ryan Wells, Lethan McGee, and all the thousands upon thousands of other men and women that are supporting our country.
Sergeant Moore.
We love you. We appreciate you guys. And thank all of you. Thank all of our fans for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch us on this lovely,
The ones we still have left.
Saturday that we have right now.
The ones we still have left, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, seriously, thank you guys on behalf of all of us here at Sports at Night. Jevon Superman Miller, Ian Andrew. I'll spare you the nickname.
Hurricane Andrew.
I'm Todd Knight. And we'll see you on the other side, baby.
Go Broncos.
Woo!
Oh man.
Go Broncos.
Well, I enjoyed that.
I
definitely enjoyed that.
I like hearing that, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
As long as they're not me always having to say it.
I know, right?
Right.
Yep. We out.
God, I'm old.
Me too.